Hello everyone, welcome. So today we will talk about the movement of Jupiter into Capricorn sign, and this happened 2 days ago, November 20th, and Jupiter is going into its debilitation. However, this debilitation has been cancelled because of the presence of Saturn. You can see Jupiter just entered Capricorn, and along with Saturn, this debilitation will be removed. So Saturn is, uh, I would say, the law maker planet because he gives you the karma back. He's karma karaka. Therefore, those who are sincere, those who are hardworking, they will definitely get good results in this Jupiter period. So Jupiter will remain here till about 6th April. So what happens on 6th April? So let us just edit the birth date and see, and he will move into Aquarius. So let's put April 7th. Okay. And if you see April 7th, he's, oh, I just put 2020. So let's put 2021. I'm sorry. So if I do April 2021, so you can see Jupiter goes on to the next house, that is Aquarius. So Jupiter from November to April, he will enter into Aquarius. He will stay in Aquarius for some time and then he will go retrograde. And as usual, Jupiter and Saturn go retrograde. Then on September 15th, 2021, he will enter back in a retrograde mode into Capricorn once again. And after he enters Capricorn on 15th September, he will stay there for some time and he will enter Aquarius back on, interestingly, November 21st. So let's check it out. November 21st, 2021. So if I put that date, so Jupiter is back in Aquarius. And then, so what happens here is Jupiter. So Jupiter is sitting here next to Saturn. Now this effect, we can speak about a general effect. Now remember, karma is very, very individual. For example, during this pandemic, um, some people profited and some people lost. I would say many people lost, but many people profited also. Some were tired of traveling and they got to sit at home. But most people could not adjust to this situation, although most people did, but everybody is waiting for the normalization to come back. So within this situation, so it's favorable for some. Remember, there is a mass karma and there is an individual karma. So because individual karma was good, many people who were uh, working in the or having stocks, shares and things with the basic supply industries, they did well. However, those with the travel industry, service industry, now they suffer a lot. They suffered a lot. So, and it's going to go on for another year. That's a big problem. So for another year, this is going to be a problem. This is a real problem. So how is that? So we see here, let me take you to December 2020. So let me take you to December, where is it? December 14th. Okay. And why is this is very significant? Because December 14th, there will be a solar eclipse. And we see a very powerful alignment of Kala Sarpa Yoga here. So all planets you see are on one side. So because of this Kala Sarpa Yoga, uh, the world progress, you can say economic progress or uh, other progress, this will be tough. It's a tough proposition for the world because it's almost the same that happened last year. If I show you what happened last year, that is December, I guess it was 25th. And if I put 2019, so that's when the pandemic kind of started. And you can see there is so many planets in one place. So although it's not as bad because now people know this pandemic, and it won't be as bad. So however, the effect is still there, and because it's a turnover effect, in the sense you are already suffered enough, you have already gone through suffering, but now it continues. Now this is a good time, this is a good time for spiritual development though. Now all your plans that you had for individual cultivation, individual study, to work hard on yourself, all these things, that's the time, because difficulties come with the reason. In astrology, when you give a solution, it's not just to clear the karma, but also to cultivate a new mindset. We are here because of our previous lives mindset, so that is called karma. Means you have a certain mentality in doing a certain work, and because of which we do some good or bad karma, and because of which we get this body to and if we want to get out of it, so the process of yoga, what we call as karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. Yoga means to connect all this work with the mind of God. So that which prevents us from connecting everything to God, everything to the Lord, everything to Vishnu, the Lord of all the planets, the supreme controller, that which prevents us. So that karma needs to be eliminated. So get your individual charts checked and where you lack and what kind of mentality we have. So that's the best advice an astrologer can give psychologically based on karma. So we have a certain mentality, so that needs to get purified. And shani and shani actually gives you that strength. Shani gives you that strength. So if you sincerely, honestly work on trying to free yourself from a bad mentality, from bad habits, so this is the best time, because it's an extremely difficult time for the world. And at this time, whoever works hardest on themselves, because it's punishment, difficulties come so that we can improve ourselves spiritually, mentally. So this is a great opportunity to to purify ourselves. So those who become more spiritual, they will suffer less. However, the world will go through a little bit of depression because this Kalasarpa Yoga is going to last till about April. So, few astrologers did predict large number of deaths and suffering due to this, because it's not just the disease killing people. It's about many poor countries. There is lack of availability of food or situation. So many things, and world over we see, even in this difficult situation, they are ready to fight. There is wars going on in this situation. I mean, that's so the people have not learned that the humanity needs to come together to actually fight this. So there is individual wars going on, lot of wars going on right now, you can see. And right now here also in the United States, this election has created such a situation where it's almost like a very stressful thing to even see the news. And this will go on. Now, January 20th, there is supposed to be a transition, but the when the results are supposed to be certified December 14th, so there will be an eclipse. So you can only imagine what will happen in this whole situation till about April. So become very focused internally on your own spiritual practices, we see. And if I interpolate this to 2021, and I look at like May, till about May 2021, one planet begins to come out of this Kala Sarpa chakra. So what does that mean? Till about May, till end of April, it's going to be, you will hear news like this. So what it means is, if mass of the population take to vegetarianism, take to good karma, then Saturn will forgive. Saturn will let things go and the suffering will be less. However, it looks like people, some have learned the lesson that this pandemic started with meddling with animals, meddling with environment. However, if that mentality doesn't change, there will be a lot of suffering. Now, Jupiter, uh, transiting to, coming back to that, so November 21st, November 20th actually, coming back to this position. So Jupiter and Saturn together. Now, what does this mean for people with different rashis? So we should look at its individual again. So this is a general prediction, but then everything comes down to your individual chart. So check your individual charts. But in general, for Aries, so for Aries, so this is called as transition. So there is something that you have to look at, is called as Bhinnashtaka Varga. So Bhinnashtaka Varga means the position of a certain planet in transition, what score does it have? So whatever score it has in the Bhinnashtaka Varga, so if it is below 3, then it's bad. If it's above 3, so like 4, 5 is good. Above 5 is even better. So what does that mean? So better your score. So Jupiter in this house. So what you have to do is check the Bhinnashtaka Varga. So if I just go to charts and if I look at reports and if I go to uh, so calculations. So if you go to Bhinnashtaka Varga, for example, here you get this. So whatever software you're using to calculate your own chart, and then I go to okay, Jupiter, for example. Now this is just a sample horoscope. So what happens is, you see here when Jupiter transits to this house, Capricorn, so the score is 4, it's okay. So open up your charts and check what is the score here. Means Jupiter, when it's transiting to this house in your horoscope, what's the score? So higher the score, the better your year will be. That's the best way to test it. Because no matter what the position is, if the Bhinnashtaka Varga is not good, that means it's a tough time. So overall score and the individual Jupiter score. So because Jupiter and Saturn are very important, then look at the score of Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is 2, for example, for this chart. This is just a sample chart, but check your charts and look at these scores, and then you'll get a better idea. So for Aries, for example, so for Aries Lagna, Aries Rashi. So Aries Lagna will get the effect in physical, Rashi will get the effect in the mind or a development, subtle development. So this will be 10th house. So 10th house means from Aries, Jupiter and Saturn are sitting in the 10th house. Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga. So 10th house relates to profession, so which is good. But Jupiter is the lord of 9th lord in the 10th and 12th lord in the 10th. So it's a plus and minus. So basically, if you do your, so your profits will be in terms of karma yoga. So it's a spiritual time to do your work in a, the spiritual benefit. 9th lord in the 10th house means more charity, better the result. So you have to do some charity, moksha, spiritual work. And I'm just giving a brief idea here. It's again, it depends on your individual chart how strong the Bhinnashtaka Varga is. If your Bhinnashtaka Varga is strong, then you won't, then it won't, then it'll give you the best result. And if it's bad, then it won't give you the desired result. So then you have to do more charity. That's what it means. So second house, second Taurus. So for Taurus, it will be ninth house. So for the Taurians, it will be ninth house. Jupiter will be in the ninth house. Eighth Lord in the ninth house, and 10, 11. 11th Lord in the ninth house. So 11th Lord is good, is a Labha. And 8th Lord, however, is not good. So it's a mixed result. So remember, you get the average of both houses, right? So 8th house is more related to research, 11th house. So more you get into research, study, the better the result you will get. Again, the degree of result depends on the Bhinnashtaka Varga score again. But the presence of Saturn does make it important for everyone to do some sort of charity, because Saturn forgives your whatever you're suffering when you do some form of charity. No, charity just doesn't mean giving money. Charity also means distributing spiritual knowledge, and not hurting people, being nice and spiritually advanced. So that is also what we call as charity. So for third house, that is Gemini. So this will be eighth house. So seventh Lord in the eighth house, and 10th Lord in the eighth house. So this is a little bit of a problem. So seventh Lord in the eighth house is not a good for sign for marriage. And 10th Lord in the eighth house. So 10th Lord is your house of profession. So that is sitting in the eighth house. So that means, again, if your Bhinnashtaka Varga score is good, then you will get the reduced bad effect. But if your Bhinnashtaka Varga score is bad, then you will get the expanded. Again, it depends on the Dasha Bhukti. But in general, yes, it's a time to put an effort into your married life. And you can see that because it's in the eighth house, so there is chances of difficulties in marriage, and also job front. So you have to be a little careful in the sense, again, more mantras and charity are required. So for Aries and Taurus, it was okay, but for Gemini, it turns out to be a little difficult. But let's look at Cancer. So for Cancer, it's in the perfect house, that is Saturn and Jupiter. Now remember, although Jupiter is Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga, that doesn't mean, and they are in the good house, that doesn't mean you will get the effect just like that. The mass karma will still affect us. The pandemic situation will still affect us to a certain degree. Therefore, we have to be very careful. So to get the best effects, so Saturn punishes those who are proud. So don't become proud. So in your marriage, so this is directly in the seventh house, that is marriage. So seventh house Saturn is good, and Jupiter there, but to get the best effect. So it's good for Cancer, Lagna, Cancer, Rashi, very good opportunity. So be humble, be hardworking, and you will see very good results in the coming year. Till April, of course, in April things change. Then again back to September, that's when you have to be careful, but at least 6 months will be favorable. Then comes the Leo. So for Leo, Jupiter and Saturn are sitting in the sixth house. So fifth Lord in the sixth house and eighth Lord in the sixth house. So eighth Lord in the sixth house is good. Fifth Lord in the sixth house is okay. It's not so bad, but so you are getting a mixed bag here. Therefore, for Leo, it's a good time. So fifth Lord in the sixth house. So it deals with a little bit of litigations and other things. So also for because it's the Lord of the fifth in the sixth and eighth in the sixth, so basically they have to be careful in terms of not to get into uh, any kind of litigation court or situation. So there is an opportunity that this could actually happen. So uh, enemies could block your progress. So the thing is, it's not that you will lose much, but the thing is, although Saturn and Jupiter will do good on the individual front for those who are sincere, that's the main thing. So every Rashi, if everyone maintains that sincerity, he will get the best effect. But again, depends on the Bhinnashtaka Varga score. So here, there is an opportunity you could be slipped. You see, I'll give you an example like Azerbaijan and Armenia. Now, Azerbaijan had planned out how to attack Armenia with their drones. And they just picked up a fight, and Armenia fell into the trap. And what happened? Armenia fell into the trap and tried to fight Azerbaijan. And what happened? And because of that, then for a few days, Azerbaijan did not attack fully. But once the war became full fledged, then they attacked with their drones and they won the war. So they literally lured them. So there is a luring for these things where you may think you will win, but it will be difficult. You may win, but it will be very difficult. So not to get into any situation like that. So sixth house deals with litigations and different things. So just be careful not to get into any fights. Or fifth lord in the sixth, eighth lord in the sixth. So but sixth house deals with health, so you have to be very careful. So that could also affect your health. So those who are Leo, you have to be a little careful. You have to focus more on your health, give up all controversies, just focus on getting stronger health. So let's go to Libra, Kanya Rashi. So for that, fourth lord in the fifth house, which is very good, and seventh lord in the fifth house. So Kanya Rashi, it's very good because fourth lord in the fifth house and seventh lord in the fifth house. So very good development on marriage front, very good development on, again, the score depends on the Bhinnashtaka Varga. So just be a little careful in the sense, make sure your Bhinnashtaka score is good, whatever software you're using. Then comes the uh, Libra, Tula. So then there is third lord in the fourth house and sixth lord in the fourth house. So third house deals with valor, courage, and it's in the fourth house, which is good. And sixth lord deals with disease. He's sitting in the fourth house, which is okay. I mean, it's not very. So it's a mixed bag once again. So the thing is here, it's a good time to. It's a good on the home front, but you have to be very careful with your health. So third house is also siblings. So more interaction with siblings, more benefit from siblings. So sixth house, there is also, I mean, in general, it will be okay. It's a mixed bag. So it's giving you a mixed bag, good result here. Now we will talk about the Vrashchika Rashi. So Vrashchika Rashi, it is so Vrashchika Rashi is second lord in the third house and fifth lord in the third house. So what happens here is second lord in the third house and fifth lord in the third house. So Vrashchika Rashi, it's a bit tough because it's second lord in the third house. Remember, this is only for 6 months. So you have to be very careful on the financial front. You have to be very careful in trying to invest in anything. So better be careful. So second lord in the third house, so there is chances that you might lose out, so better just preserve, don't invest too much, just be calm in this. The next one is the next one is the Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, Lagna Lord in the second house, very good for Sagittarius. So financially, you will do well. Fourth Lord in the second house. So Sagittarius is going to perform really well. So will Capricorn. So those who are in Capricorn, again, depending on how sincere you are, don't try to find a shortcut. This is the time when you have to work your hardest. So it'll be very good for those who are in Capricorn. However, those who are Aquarius, it's in the 12th house. So it's not a good combination. So a lot of your bad karma will come out, a lot of difficulties. So for Aquarius, and also for Pisces, it's good because it's in the 11th house. So it'll be fine for Pisces. It's in the 11th house. So Lagna Lord in the 11th house and 10th lord in the 11th house. So Pisces is good, but Aquarius is going to be tough. So mostly overall it'll be good for most people, sincere. So those who take dharma, those who practice very sincerely, again depending on your Binnastaka Varga score, that read your individual charts and do the remedies, and you will get the best results. So this can either really lift the things up really really well, or you could just hit a big roadblock. So just be a bit careful in this, and definitely good results will be there. All right, so thank you all so much for this, for watching. Stay tuned for more. Namaste.